Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. So guys, one of you have asked me about what do I think Manny Pacquiao should do before he retires, and what I'd like to see him do. I'd like to see Manny Pacquiao become undisputed. I'm not going to say he's going to become undisputed. I would like him to go and try to achieve that before he retires. It would be great for Manny to become undisputed champion, and I believe he has the capability of doing it. But here's what I think Manny should do. Manny should let Terence Crawford and Spence fight it out. Both of them need him. I remember Angel Garcia was once speaking and he was talking about Cotto. He goes, Golovkin and Canelo needs Cotto's name. Even though at that time Canelo was a massive star and he didn't need Cotto's name. But he goes, Cotto should sit on the throne like a king. Let Golovkin and Canelo fight one another and then fight the winner. And in Manny's case, that's more so. Canelo was a huge star. He didn't need Cotto. But both Spence and Crawford need Manny Pacquiao. Here's the thing. And I'm pretty sure a lot of the neutral Spence fan and Crawford fan will understand this. The fact is, right, that Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, right, they're trying to build that into be a huge fight. They're trying to build that into be a massive, humongous fight. But really, both guys are not big stars. They both have about 100,000 followers on Twitter. They're not huge. In order for you to sell huge pay-per-view numbers, you need to have a huge casual audience. Those two don't have that, right? And when they fight, the chances are they're not going to have that. And I'll make a separate video, right? Because this is just about Manny Pacquiao trying to become undisputed and what I think he should do to achieve that. I don't think Spence and Crawford is that big a fight, and I don't think it will ever be that big financially, right? So I think for both of them, the biggest payday will come against Pacquiao. But Pacquiao should look to go and become undisputed champion. Now, what he should say is, you two fight one another, and I'll fight the winner for the undisputed championship. Because I don't think Manny Pacquiao he's old. He's 41 years of age. I don't think he should fight both of them at this age. I think he should fight one of them, and he should fight the winner. Let them two fight it out. The winner gets Pacquiao. What the boxing community is trying to do, they're trying to get Pacquiao to fight one of Spence or Crawford right away because they think he'll lose. Whoever wins that will become a bigger star, and then all of a sudden Spence and Crawford for the undisputed is a massive fight financially, which I don't think it is. But that's what the boxing community wants to happen. But Manny Pacquiao is in a position of power. Manny Pacquiao is now the Mayweather of the welterweight division. What Mayweather was when he was controlling, Manny Pacquiao is that. Manny Pacquiao is different to Mayweather because Manny Pacquiao is not a power. He's not power hungry like that, where he's gonna take advantage of his situation, because he's a different kind of fighter to Mayweather, where he's more of a guy that he'll put everything on the line, right? Even at the age of 41, because we all know that Mayweather at this age wouldn't come back and fight Spence or Crawford, you know. So the fact is, right, that Pacquiao should let them two fight it out. He's earned the right. He's earned the right to pick and choose what he wants. I think Pacquiao should have an interim fight in between. Let them two fight it out, and then the winner gets Pacquiao. Pacquiao's the king. He's sitting on the throne right now. They need him. He doesn't need them, right? Why are you gonna give Spence and Crawford what they want when they need you? Pacquiao doesn't need Spence and Crawford. They're the ones that are making a couple of $1 million a fight. Pacquiao's made multi-millions. Pacquiao's made $150 million in one fight, or $100 million in one fight against Mayweather. You know, this is a guy that's probably made $20-30 million in fights before. He's a multi-millionaire. They need him more than he needs them, right? So Pacquiao needs to look at what he wants to achieve, which is to become undisputed champion, right? And finish off his career being on. And I'm not saying he beats Spence or Crawford. Even if those two were to fight each other and Manny gets a chance at either one of them, I think he's capable, even at this age, to win. But like I said, he wouldn't be favorite. So I certainly wouldn't favor him against both of them if he had to face two of them, because what you got to realize, there will be tough fights for him. And he's 41. You don't want to be going into two tough fights like that. I want to see Manny fight the winner of that fight, you know, and he's earned the right to sit on the throne, right, and wait for the winner of that fight. He doesn't have to fight. Why should he have to fight Crawford? And if he beats Crawford, then have to fight Spence? What bullcrap is that all about? Why don't they fight one another and then then Manny fights the winner? I've been saying this all along. Spence and Crawford are in no position. Spence and Crawford are not the powerhouses right now. Pacquiao is. He's the money man. They need him. Pacquiao's the guy in power, not Spence or Crawford. Spence or Crawford don't call the shots. They got 100,000 followers on Twitter each. No one knows them in the casual audience. And I'm not hating on Spence and Crawford. I'm just putting it out there what I know. The facts. Spence and Crawford aren't big stars. They're not big stars. They need Pacquiao's name. They're trying to, and Al Heyman might be looking to use Pacquiao's name in order to build that Spence and Crawford fight up, and same with Errol. That's what they're trying to do. But Pacquiao needs to stay strong to what he wants to achieve, and I do believe Pacquiao wants to become undisputed champion, but Pacquiao should sit it out and say, you two fight each other and then I'll fight the winner, because that gives Pacquiao a better chance of becoming undisputed. I don't want to see Pacquiao fight Crawford, and if he beats Crawford then have to fight Spence. The man's 41. Why should he have to take the hard route? Why not they take the hard route? Just say if Pacquiao fights Crawford, right? Spence is sitting there on his sitting there, right? Spence hasn't had to go through the career that Pacquiao's had to go. Spence hasn't taken the licks that Pacquiao has taken throughout his career. Spence hasn't fought the top names that Pacquiao's fought throughout his career. Spence hasn't got Cotto. He hasn't got Margarito. He hasn't got Sugar Shane Mosley. He hasn't got Barrera, Morales, Marquez on his resume. He hasn't had to go through those fights. Pacquiao has. So I think it's absurd that we think that Pacquiao should have to fight both of them, even at this age. Pacquiao should sit it out, let those two fight each other, and then fight the winner for the undisputed. I think that's fair. For a guy that's an 8 division world champion that's achieved, I think he's paid his dues to have that much in his favor at least, right? So I hope Pacquiao doesn't fight Spence or Crawford, because knowing Pacquiao and knowing the kind of warrior he is, he probably would. But at 41, I don't think it's a right thing for him to do. I think he should sit it out quietly, let them two fight, and then fight the winner, and look to achieve his dream. He's never been an undisputed champion. It would be a chance for him at the age of 41, right, to do that. But please don't say he needs to fight Spence and Crawford both to become. No, let them two fight, and then he fights the winner. That's normally what happens, right? The guy in the position of power normally gets to call the shots, and Pacquiao's the guy in power. He's the one that calls the shots right now. He's the Mayweather of the welterweight division right now, not Spence or Crawford. You know, they don't make that much money when they fight. They're not big stars. They're not well known. You know, 100,000 followers in such a big country like America on Twitter. That's disgusting. Spence is a welterweight unified champion, and he's got 100,000, I think about 150,000 Twitter followers. No one knows him. You know what I mean? No wonder they say American pay-per-view numbers are dying. You know, you got fighters like that who are pound for pound fighters that nobody knows. You know, so the fact is that that's my stance on it. That's my stance on it, that Pacquiao should sit it out and look to become undisputed champion. And let Spence and Crawford fight, and then he fights the winner. I think it's fair, personally, but that's my take on it. What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll respond to all of you guys. Make sure to please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure to smash that like button. It helps with the algorithm. It helps my channel, and I'll be back with another one. Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. So guys, some of you have asked me to do a Danny Garcia Errol Spence video, and I thought I'd give it to you. How do I think that fight goes? What do I think of that fight being made? I think it's a good fight for both of them. I think Errol Spence needs to know where he's at after, you know, having a horrific accident. Also, Errol Spence is probably going to be out of the ring for maybe 1.5 years, because the chances are, I don't know whether we're going to be able to get big time boxing back till at least December, you know. So I'm not sure some of these big fighters are going to be able to fight until December, maybe later than that, you know. So I think Spence is probably going to be out of the ring for 1.5 years, because he fought Porter in September. So it's a great opportunity to see where Spence is at. He's going to have to jump in. I think because of the current climate, he's not going to have a easy tune-up fight. I think he's going to have to jump in into a decent-sized fight. And Garcia is that. Garcia, for me, is a good fighter. I think he's he's probably overachieved as a fighter. I think he's done really well with limited skills. I do think his skills are a little underrated, but I do think they're not as great as some of the other welterweights. In terms of this matchup, I think if Spence comes at his best, this is a very bad matchup for Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia, I've praised Danny Garcia's chin, saying Danny Garcia's got one of the best chins. But I do think if he fights Errol Spence, I do think he gets knocked out if Errol Spence is the same Errol Spence. However, this fight is intriguing just because of the fact we don't know where Errol Spence is at. And if Errol Spence has declined or he's not the same because of that accident, then Danny Garcia has a chance. However, I think if Errol Spence turns up, though Errol Spence we know, I don't give Danny Garcia much of a shot in this fight. I just think this is the first time that Danny Garcia is going to be fighting a welterweight that's not just going to pressure him, but also a big puncher. He fought Porter, pressured him, but he's not a big puncher. And the thing is with Danny Garcia, he can get wild. And I think Errol Spence is very accurate, very powerful. And I think the constant pressure of Spence and the size and being the big welterweight that Spence is, I think he's gonna really put it on Danny Garcia, and I think he probably stops him, if I'm honest with you. Even though like I said, I've praised Danny Garcia's chin in the past. I think Danny Garcia's got one of the best chins, but I just think Spence is superior in everything. I don't think there's anything that Danny Garcia does better than Errol Spence. I think Spence hits harder. I think Spence is a better boxer. I think, Spence is... all the departments, Spence is better. I have even criticized in the past Spence. I think he's got slow feet. But I think Danny Garcia's got slower feet. So, I don't think Danny Garcia, there's any angle we can win this fight. I think Spence could beat him on points and Spence could stop him. And Spence has got a fairly good chin as well. So, I only see this fight going one way, if I'm honest with you. And I think what we've seen when he fought Thurman is that Thurman was able to outbox him at points. But Thurman is quite sloppy at times and he's quite vulnerable. And he lets you back into the fight. I don't think Spence is like that. Spence is going to go for the jugular and he's going to just look to destroy you. And I think stylistically, I think this is a very bad matchup for Danny Garcia. I've always thought that. I've always thought whenever, when they've talked about Spence Garcia, I've always thought that Spence stylistically is a wrong matchup for Danny Garcia. He's a southpaw, he's big, he's strong, he can punch. I think it's not a very good matchup for Danny Garcia at all, and I think Spence probably knocks him out. I don't think Danny Garcia gets stopped against anybody else. I just think stylistically, I think the way this match maps out stylistically, with Spence being the bigger man, the constant pressure of Spence being the bigger puncher, being a big puncher in Danny Garcia's face. I don't think Danny Garcia's got the power to keep him off of him. Because I do think Danny Garcia can punch, but I do think his punching power is a little overrated. If you look at even at 140, I don't think he was a massive puncher. The only two guys of note that he really stopped were Amir Khan and Eric Morales, and everybody else, he wasn't able to stop. The top level guys wasn't really able to stop. Judah went 12 rounds with him. What's his name? Matisse went 12 rounds with him. Peterson went 12 rounds with him. Herrera went 12 rounds with him. And some of those fights, especially Peterson and Herrera, I don't think he won those fights. So, even though I thought he beat Porter, I thought he was unlucky not to get that decision. But I do think that Spence is stylistically all wrong for Danny Garcia. And I think I would favor Spence by stoppage. But what do you guys think? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. Guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. So guys, I've been asked, do I think Keith Thurman is washed up? I don't think Keith Thurman is washed up at all. I think Keith Thurman, I think he lacked a bit of hunger, he lacked a bit of desire, but I don't think he's washed up. I think he needs to get back in the gym. I do think that a lot of these guys, but what I saw when I saw Keith Thurman fight Pacquiao, I didn't see a guy that was washed up. I saw a guy that was rusty a little. I saw a guy that made mistakes, and I think he's still got enough in the tank trouble any welterweight. I just think he needs to get in the gym and get that hunger and train harder, because a lot of these guys, when they make that money and when they become unified champion, they feel like they've achieved it. When you reach the mountaintops, it's very hard to stay there. When you reach the top in anything, and that's why you get a lot of guys that they'll reach the top and then they'll fall off straight away, because you feel like you made it. Well, you've got to understand, when you get to the top, you've got to even work even harder to stay there, because there's going to be people, there's going to be challengers that are hungry, that were in your position, that are coming to chase you down. Right? So you've got to work even harder to make sure you can maintain your spot. They always say it's a lot easier to become champion than it is to keep it. It's a lot easier to get to the top than to stay at the top, because there's a lot of hungry lions beneath you that are looking to knock you off your spot. That's why you get a lot of people that when you're at the top, they fall off. We saw that with Andy Ruiz. Keith Thurman's a great example. You know, he became unified champion and then got injured, and then we didn't see him again for a while. He probably made a bag load of money, then he came back, didn't look great against Lopez, and then got beat by Manny Pacquiao. But someone like Manny Pacquiao, for example, look, he continues, you know, he continues to work hard, because to him it's bigger than, he's about legacy. See, the thing is, but you can win a unified championship, but there's been many unified champions. But in order for you to create a legacy, you got to keep doing it again and again and again and again and again. Because at the end of the day, if you're not doing it and again and again and again and again, right, there's going to be others that have achieved what you've achieved, you know. So you've got to, in order for you to create a legacy, you've got to keep beating top fighters after top fighters after top fighters. Only then you will recognized as a great. So I don't think Keith Thurman's washed up. I do think there was a bit of a hunger problem. Obviously, he's suffering with injuries and stuff. But I do think if he can get, you know, injury-free, if he can get training hard, training like how he was when he was hungry, determined, have that same mindset, I do think Keith Thurman is not washed up. And Keith Thurman's definitely got a future in the welterweight division. And Keith Thurman could potentially even become, or possibly even become world champion. But again, he's got to get that hunger back. He's got to get training harder. He's got to do all those basic things that you need to do. Because what you got to realize, Keith Thurman's at a stage in his career now where he's made a lot of money, right? He's been world champion. So the motivation has to be, he's seen as a senior fighter now. He's not seen as a hungry guy that's not made the huge money. He's got the nice cars, the big house. You know, he's got everything he wants now. But now it's about, now this moving forward now is about legacy, is what Keith Thurman wants from the sport. Does he want to leave the sport as a, you know, a former unified welterweight champion, or does he want to leave the sport as a 2-3 weight world champion or multiple time world champion? You know, what does he want to get from it? You know, does he want to beat guys like Crawford, Spence? What does he want from the sport? That's what he's got to ask himself. And if from what I've seen recently, right, the interviews that he's done, he seems hungry again. He seems like he wants to get to the top. And listen, he's a very good fighter. He's a good boxer. He's a good puncher. You know, he's a bit vulnerable, yes, but that makes him exciting. But I believe Keith Thurman's got a full package. It's a full package in terms of his offensive ability. You know, like I said, he can box, he can punch, he can, you know, he's very good. Very, very good. Defensively, a bit vulnerable. Yeah, we know he's chin issues, body punch, you know, body resistance isn't great, but at the end of the day, you know, that makes him exciting. And I like I said, I think he's a problem for any welterweight at 100%. You know, he's not an easy fight for any welterweight. I'm just being honest. That's just my honest opinion. But what do you guys think? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. So guys, what's going on? Guys, I want to do a video. Big shout out to RJ Sports again. You know, you told me to do a series of Amir Khan videos, and what do I think would have happened. I believe I did Mayweather. I believe I did Bradley. I want to do another one of those. You also asked about the Danny Garcia rematch. How do I think that would have gone? Well, actually, before I do the Danny Garcia one, let's do the Lamont Peterson one, because that was you know, another fight that you asked, and I haven't ever spoke about that one. I know I've done one about the Garcia fight. I've done that before in the past, like a couple of years ago, or 1 year ago. Let's do about the Lamont Peterson one, because I've never ever spoke about that. Firstly, I think the first fight was very close. I think the first fight was a very good fight. I think Amir Khan won the first fight, if I'm honest with you. I think it was a very close fight that could have gone either way. A brilliant fight. It was a war, if I'm honest with you. It was a war. But I personally think that Amir Khan should have got that decision. I think you know, he got put. It was a lot of dodgy stuff going on in that fight. I think, and then obviously Lamont Peterson failed a drugs test after, so you know, a lot of dodgy stuff going on. And then Amir Khan was going to fight him in a rematch, and Lamont failed a drugs test. What do I think would have happened if obviously Lamont didn't take any drugs and he was clean and the fight had gone ahead? How would I think the fight would have played out? I think Amir Khan would have definitely won the rematch, if I'm honest with you. I would have favored Khan heavily in the rematch, just because I think Amir Khan, and I think Jim Watt pointed this out in that fight, I think Amir Khan kind of threw his titles away. I think he could have made the fight a lot easier. You know, he was sitting on the ropes, letting Lamont Peterson pressure him. You know, where was he? Why was he not using his legs in this fight? You know, use your legs, move away from side to side. You know, and he was kind of, in my opinion, trying to show his macho-ness in the fight. He was trying to show that he's, you know, trying to show the world that, listen, I've got a chin, I can take a punch. Like, I don't know why he was doing that. And I think he kind of let Peterson in the fight. You know, the fight started brilliantly for him. I think he dropped Peterson twice in one of the rounds, or I can't exactly remember, but I know he dropped him a couple times. And it looked like everything was going great. And then all of a sudden, you know, Peterson started pressuring him, and Amir Khan started sitting on the ropes. Kind of started doing rope-a-dopes, and you know, Peterson was catching him. Peterson caught. Listen, that fight was close because Peterson really put a beating on Khan in certain rounds. He was putting it on him, but Amir Khan, credit to him, he stood up to everything Peterson had, and not once in the fight I thought Amir Khan was hurt. I don't think Peterson had that. Even though I think if Peterson was on something, we don't know if he was on anything in the first fight. But Peterson looked very strong to me, like he was almost bullying Amir Khan at times in the fight. But Amir Khan stood up to it. Like I said, I had Amir Khan winning the fight, but it was a close fight. I think the 2 points deduction was criminal, because I've seen Amir Khan, you know, do push away opponents. You know, Peterson was on his chest all night, and Amir Khan was pushing him away. Pushing's not allowed, but nevertheless, I think, you know, Amir Khan's done that throughout his career, never been penalized, and this referee, I just found it strange. I think everything about the event, you know, then afterwards the mystery man and you know, the referee, everything, you know, it just was a bit dodgy to me, if I'm totally honest. Amir Khan going to his hometown, it was very close. Like I said, it could have gone either way, but I feel in the rematch, I feel Amir Khan would have distanced himself from Lamont Peterson. I think he would have moved a lot more. I think it would have been a lot harder for Lamont to pressure him, and I would have picked Amir Khan to win on points in the rematch, just because I think Lamont gave Amir Khan his best in terms of his power, his punch power, and I think Amir Khan could have been a lot better, whereas I don't think Lamont could be much better. Do you see where I'm coming from? I think that was the best Lamont that we ever got, you know, the first fight, and I don't think that was the best Amir Khan, because I think Amir Khan didn't box to the best of his ability. I think he gave Lamont more of a chance than he had by sitting on the ropes and just taking punishment. You know, I don't know why he did that. You know, or if he had boxed and moved, it would have been very difficult for Lamont Peterson, because Lamont Peterson's not a big puncher, never has been, and Amir Khan was able to eat all of his punching power. So I just think that in the rematch, Amir Khan would have moved a lot more, and I think he would have outclassed and outboxed Lamont Peterson. That's just my take on it. I think it would have been a performance like the Devon Alexander, although Lamont has a different style. He you know, he does come forward, he can pressure you, but I think it would have been very difficult for Lamont in the rematch, if I'm honest with you. I think Khan would have been a nightmare, just because I think he would have moved a lot more, whereas I don't think Freddie Roach would have let him sit on the ropes like he was in that fight. I think Freddie Roach would have got him to move a lot more, and it wasn't like Amir Khan to sit on the ropes. You know, I was quite surprised the fact that he was sitting on the ropes and just, you know, at times just tucking up and sitting on the ropes and just taking punishment, move around. You know, I don't know and that's what he normally does, but it was just surprising the way he fought. But, you know, leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you think Amir Khan would have outboxed Lamont Peterson in the second fight a lot easier? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.
I want to thank you all for me reaching 7,000 subs. I appreciate your support. Guys, as you can probably see from my channel art, I have recently started Patreon and Blogger. If you were to click on this icon here, it will take you to my Patreon page. And I just want to take you through my Patreon page. So at the minute, I've got 2 options. Hopefully, I will increase this if my Patreon grows. But at the minute, I've got one option, which is $1 a month fan donation, which will obviously help me produce better quality content on YouTube and faster for you guys. And I've got another option of $3 a month for 2 live streams a week discussing boxing with myself. You guys will get to speak to me face to face. And I'll take you to my boxing blog. So if you were to click on this B sign here, it will take you to my boxing blogs, which is this page here. And all you have to do is click on here, and that will take you to my boxing blogs where you can see all my different articles that I've wrote. So as you can see, I've wrote 6 articles about different topics. So if you want to click on one of my articles, all you got to do is click on this, and it will take you straight to the article, and you can read it, and you can then go back and read the others if you would like. But yeah, guys, I thought I'd just highlight this to you. So make sure to read my articles. Make sure to subscribe to my Patreon if you're interested. And guys, I thank you for your support. I thank you for me reaching 7,000 subs. Guys, I'm out.